So right now we're all set for coding. Yes, so there will be no more theory, there will be no more drawing, there will be no more XML walkthrough. Okay, right now we can straight away go to Eclipse or STS, and we can start creating a Spring MVC app only using the Java code. It's going to be pretty much exciting right now, and I'm all charged up. So if you're going to see the time right now is 25th of December and it's 1:20. I have just been to a church and I really feel great right now. So I'm all charged up. So let's go for STS and let's start creating a Maven project where we're going to set up a dispatcher servlet and a configuration file, a Spring configuration file using only Java code. Okay. So right click, new, I will go to other and I will start typing in Maven project. Okay. So I'm going to create a Maven project right here. Okay. So I'm going to click next, and here I'm going to choose the archetype edge, this one, Maven archetype web app. So this is a special template that Maven is going to provide me right now for my web application. And the group ID, I'm going to say it as com.seleniumexpress. I can take com.seleniumexpress as my company. And artifact ID, this is basically the project name. And as you guys know that we're going to create a love calculator application. So I'm going to say the artifact ID is Spring love calculator, and the version 0.0.1 snapshot. Obviously let it be as a snapshot version. As I said, the snapshot is because right now we're going to continuously work on this particular project and is still on development. So let it be there, and the package name com.seleniumexpress. Then I'll say LC. So LC stand for love calculator. This is the application that I'm going to build for the next few videos. Obviously, I'm going to make a series of it because we're going to do so many exciting things right here. Spring security, Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, MVC, Spring Core, and what more we can expect, right? So Spring Love Calculator, this is a Maven project which has got created, and I got an error here. I don't know why. SRC main web app. Okay, so index.jsp is not able to compile, I think. Yes, there is a compilation error. If I'll go to Maven, if I'll go to error right here, is saying javax.servlet.http servlet was not found in Java build path. So basically inside of pom.xml right now, we do not have a servlet API jar. So what we can do here, inside the dependency, we can add a servlet API jar, or we can do a simpler thing without creating one more dependency right here. What we can do here, right click, I'll go to properties right here. Then I'll go to targeted runtime and I'll check this Apache Tomcat version 9.0 so that this error will go away. Right now I do not have any error right here. And if I'm going to do a run as Maven install just to make sure my project is running fine right now and there is no such error which is going to trouble me later. Yeah, I can see a build success right here. So no problem, even if I'm trying to run this particular application. Okay, hello world. So this is a simple Maven project that Maven has created this project for me, and in the index.html file you can see a hello world right here. So that's what we are getting in our web browser. That's pretty nice. Right now let's come to our work. So right now we have a web.xml file here. Trust me, we're going to delete this particular file, right? As I said, we do not need a web.xml file right now. Okay. So if I'm going to delete it, let's see what is going to happen. If I'm going to delete my web.xml file, if I'm going to stop my Tomcat, see what's happened here. We are right now getting a problem. Web.xml is missing, and fail on missing web.xml is set to true. I'll tell you basically what this error means, but I'll just tell it later in this particular video. Let's not break the flow. Let me bring my web.xml file back, but I'm going to delete my web.xml file by the end of this video, right? And obviously we're going to deploy this web project without having a web.xml file, but right now let me bring it back so that I do not have to do any configuration. The error is gone from here, and right now I'm pretty good enough to go for the project development. So first of all, I'll go to my pom.xml file. I'm going to develop a Spring MVC application. So I will be needing the Spring Web MVC jar. So what I can do here, I can go to Google Chrome, do a right click, incognito, and here I'll do search for Spring Web MVC Maven dependency. Okay, so there you go. So I'm going to click on the first link right here. So it will take me to the Maven repository, the MVN repository, and here I'm going to choose the latest version, which is 5.2.2. I'm going to copy this dependency. I'll do right click, copy. Okay, so inside the dependencies tag right here, dependencies, inside this I'm going to paste the dependency that I have copied from the MVN repository, right? So I'll do Command A, Control Shift F to format everything. I'll do Control S to save everything. And let me build my workspace, and I'm damn sure right now if I'll go to Java resources, and if I'll go to libraries, if I'll go to Maven dependencies, well, we get all the Spring jars, right? We get Spring Web jar right here, and we get the Spring Web MVC jar right here. And of course, the Spring MVC jar is dependent on all other things like Spring AOP, Spring Bean, Spring Context. So all this jar comes free for us right now, because for the Spring Web MVC project, all these things are needed. The Spring Web MVC project pom.xml file does have all this dependency. So whenever we build our project, all these jars came automatically to my project dependency. And right now I can go straight forward for my project development. So I can go to Java resources. I'll go to source main resources, but I do not have a folder here called source main Java. So what I can do here, I can do a right click in my Spring Love Calculator project. I'm going to go to this particular project directory. So I'll click on System Explorer, and right now inside my Spring Love Calculator, if I drag in, this is the folder structure. If I'll go to source, if I'll go to main, here I have only resources and web app. As I can see, inside source main, I have resources and web app. I want a new folder here called Java, and inside the Java, I'm going to put my Java file. So I'm going to close this. I'll do a right click here, and I'll do a refresh. So right now I'll get a folder here called source main Java. As you can see, it's pretty blank right now. Let me create a new package. Let me create a class. And this class right now is going to be a replacement for my web.xml file. The class that I'm going to develop right now, as I have told you, I'm going to implement an interface right here called WebApplicaitonInitalizer. So let me do one thing. Let me create a class called, we're going to create Love Calculator, right? So I'll say Love Calculator Application Initializer. Okay, pretty big name. Okay, so this is our application initializer, and let me put this particular class inside a package called config. So I'll say com.seleniumexpress.lc.config. Okay, this is going to be my package, and inside this package I'm going to create this class, and this class should implement an interface. Let me click on add here. I'm going to implement an interface right here called web application. Yeah, we got it right, this one, web application initializer. So let me select this interface right here, and let me say okay, and let me say finish right here. Let's see what is the class that Eclipse has created for us. Okay, the class name is Love Calculator Application Initializer. You can give the class name as anything. And the important thing right here is that we are implementing the web application initializer, right? So if I'll click in this web application initializer, then you can see this is an interface I have told you previously, and this interface has one particular method called onStartOff, and this onStartOff method is basically accepting a servlet context as an argument, and we need to create a dispatcher servlet, and we need to set that dispatcher servlet to this servlet context reference. Okay, so if I'll go to the top of the application, if you do not believe me, you can read the information given by the Spring framework developer. So interface to be implemented in Servlet 3.0 plus environments in order to configure the servlet context programmatically. Okay, previously, as you can see right here, previously we are coding it inside the web.xml. Right now, let's configure programmatically the servlet context using this interface called Web Application Initializer, written by Chris. Thanks, Chris. So we can go right here to our class, our custom class. As you can see, all the things are set up right now, and we have a method here called onStartUp because we're implementing this interface. And right now I am not going to code anything. I'll just print a logger here. So let's say sysout and control space. I'll just put a logger here. Let's say my custom class onStartUp method called, right? Okay, I can write Avilash here just to make sure. Okay, this is my custom line. Okay, so right now what I can do here, I'm going to maximize it, and let me deploy this. Let me do a clean install just to make sure I do not have anything wrong in my project right now. My things are getting compiled fine. Where is my console? Okay, so Maven compiler build failure. Okay, so what's the reason of the build failure? So we can read the information right here. Is saying failed to execute goal, Maven compiler. What is saying on project love calculator compilation failure, and it's saying okay, JavaX servlet doesn't exist. Okay, let's add the JavaX servlet dependency right here in our pom.xml. Let me click on pom.xml. Let me again go to Google Chrome and let me search for servlet API. Do enter here. Okay, JavaX servlet API. Let me click here. I'll go to 4.0.1. I'm going to click here. It's copied to my clipboard. I can come back to my pom.xml file. I can do right click and paste. Okay, I can delete this line by hitting Command D to delete, Command A, Control Shift F to format everything, and looks good. I'll go back to Love Calculator application initializer. It's downloading the sources, validating everything. Okay, things are done. I can do one more thing right now. I can do right click in this particular project. I'll go to Maven and I'll click on update project just to make sure everything in place, and is updating my Maven project right now. I'm just making sure all my jars have been downloaded and been set to my build path. Things are looking good. I'll do a right click, run as, and Maven install. Let's see right now my program is compiled fine or not. Okay, finger crossed. Build success, right? It's Christmas. So everything will be happy for us. So right now, let me do one thing. Right click, run as, run on server, and I'll do next and finish. Now let's see what is going to happen. So my server is getting started. I want to just see my class is getting picked up by the Tomcat or not. Hey Tomcat, please pick my class and run that onStartUp method. That's what I want. So there you go. You can see in the log already, right? So okay, so my custom class onStartUp method called Avilash. I haven't called that method. My framework has called the onStartUp method, and you can see right here a logger info Spring Web Application Initializer detected on the class path, and after that it has initialized my class, which is Love Calculator Application Initializer, this class has been automatically picked up by the Tomcat because I have implemented this. It has executed this particular method, and this thing right now you are seeing in the console is the proof that onStartup method gets executed, right? That's right here. So right now I'm going to remove my logger from here, and here I'm going to do two things. I'm going to create a dispatcher servlet object here, okay, and I'm going to register the dispatcher servlet with the servlet context object. Okay, this is the two things that I'm going to do right here, and let's do it. So right now let me stop the server and let me proceed with the development of this particular method. So let's get started. Okay, it's going to be 2 o'clock right now. I'm just wondering when Santa Claus is going to come, because I want to ask him a PS4. It's pretty cheap right now. PS5 is coming, so PS4 Pro is a good option. Just kidding. Okay, so right now let's go ahead with the development of the onStartup method. Okay, so right now we can get started with creating a dispatcher servlet object. So first of all, let me delete this line, Command D to delete this line. Okay, so I'm going to create a dispatcher servlet object right now. Let's say dispatcher servlet. So dispatcher servlet is a class provided by the Spring Framework developer. Dispatcher servlet as the reference and equal to new dispatcher servlet. Okay, that's cool. So I've created a dispatcher servlet object. So as I told you before, the dispatcher servlet is need a Spring configuration file to get initialized, right? So if I'll go to the dispatcher servlet class written by the Spring Framework people, so if I'll go to the constructor section, if I'll come down, so many variables here. There is a static method, variable. Where is the constructor? Okay, there you go. So here is the constructor of dispatcher servlet. I'm going to use this constructor, the dispatcher servlet, which is taking a web application context as an argument, right? So I'm going to utilize this constructor, and I'm going to provide the Spring configuration file inside the argument of the dispatcher servlet, so that my dispatcher servlet can initialize the web application context, right? So what I can do here, I can close this, I can come here. So as I said, my dispatcher servlet needs a Spring configuration file, but I do not have a Spring configuration file here, right? So what I can do, I can go to resources. Basically, I did created a, so if you can see, this is my STS and this is my Eclipse. So previously I was explaining you this project, right? Spring MVC demo project. Here I was explaining you everything in XML approach, right? I did have a web.xml file here, and inside the web.xml file I have created my dispatcher servlet, and I had a application config file, right, which is this file, and I have placed this file inside the WebInf. Inside the WebInf directory I have placed this file, and this file job is here we can create the component scan, we can create the view resolver, we can create different types of bean. Okay, so basically let me copy this particular file. Let me focus only one thing at a moment, right? So I'll just copy this particular file right now. I'll do right click copy. I'll go to my STS, and inside the resources folder, okay, in the resources folder we are going to place our properties file, we're going to place our XML file. So right here I'm going to do paste. Okay, so I have the application config file right here. So let me remove all these things. I don't need it. I just want a very simple blank XML file, and this file is the config file. Do not worry, I'm going to delete this particular file later, and I'm going to create the equivalent file of this in Java, right? Don't worry about it. But right now I'll come to srsim in Java. I'll come to the love calculator application initializer, where I'm setting up my dispatcher servlet. Basically my goal is to pass a web application context. object right here. So that's my goal. So let me remove it. So right now let me create my web application context object, my container object right here. So I'll say web application context, and this is an interface. Basically, I don't want to create a web application context. I want to create a XML web application context because I'm going to register the XML file right now. So XML web application context, web application context equal to new XML web application context. There you go. So right now I do have this particular file, application-config.xml. This is my web application context file. So let me register that particular file. So I can say web application context dot set config location. So where is my location? I have placed my application config file right here inside the src main resources. So this is my class path. Inside my src main resources only I do have application-config.xml. So what I can do here, I can right click, I can just copy the name of this. I can directly do Command C on this particular file, and I can do here inside the set config location, I'll do Command V. So I'll get my file. Let me minimize it, and it will be a string. So let me wrap this off with double quote. So this is my file name, and this file is present inside the class path. So I'll write class path : application config.xml. So right now my web application context object here I'm creating, my container object I'm creating right here. So I am going to copy this reference and I'm going to place it right here inside the dispatcher servlet, and there we go. So while I'm creating my dispatcher servlet object here, I'm making sure that I'm passing a web application context, so that whenever my dispatcher servlet object will be created, it is going to look forward for that application config file, and inside the application config file right here, I'm going to set up all my application related thing right here. Like I'm going to create beans, I'm going to set up my view resolver right here only, I'm going to activate the component scanning right here, and I can do all those things right here. So what I can do right now, everything looking good. So I can come here. Right now my dispatcher servlet object is created. My application context, my web application context is also registered. So right now one more thing is left. That is, I'm going to add this dispatcher servlet object to the servlet context. So I'll say servlet context dot add. We do have a method here called add servlet. So I can click on the add servlet method. So this add servlet needs two things. What is the servlet name and what is the servlet class? So our servlet class is right here, dispatcher servlet. We have already created the dispatcher servlet right here. So I'll do Command C the reference and Command V right here in the second argument. I'll give a semicolon right here, and the servlet name you can do anything, right? Previously in the XML file, if you go back to the Eclipse, where is the web.xml file? Here only I have configured the dispatcher servlet, and previously I've given the servlet name as my dispatcher servlet, right? So let me Control C this. Let me go to my STS right here, and the servlet name right here I can configure my dispatcher servlet. Anything you can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, XYZ, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever you want. So right now let me do Command S to save everything. Okay, so that's good. So right now we have everything in place. We have created our dispatcher servlet right here, and we have also registered, I'll say registered dispatcher servlet with servlet context, right? So all these things are done for us right now. Okay, so that's good right now. So the next thing will be, if I'll go back to my XML approach, if I'll go back to my Eclipse, you can see the project that I have previously shown you. This thing we have done, right? Two more thing is pending right now. We have to set up our URL mapping, okay? Whatever the dispatcher servlet object that we have created, what kind of URL it is going to handle, that thing we need to set up right there in our Java class. So inside the web.xml file, we did it by using the servlet mapping tag, but right now we are not using XML, so how we are going to do it? The next thing is that we have also set up the load and startup, so that our dispatcher servlet gets initialized by the servlet container during the time of the deployment because of this statement. So how we're going to achieve this and how we're going to achieve this right now. So what I can do right here, I can come back to my class. What is this add servlet method returns? You again go to your Google Chrome, and if you search for servlet context API, so I can click on the first link. Okay, it's Java 6, but that's okay. I don't care much for it, but I will go to, so this is my servlet context. I just want to see the methods of servlet context interface. So here we have used the add servlet method. So as you can see, we have used this one, right? Add servlet, which takes a string. This string will be the servlet name and also the servlet. And here we have set the dispatcher servlet object. This thing is returning something servlet registration dot dynamic. This is the return type. So if you are seeing this syntax for the first time, you might be getting confused. What is this servlet registration dot dynamic? So right now, if I'll go back to my STS right now, you can see this add servlet method. Right now, it is going to return servlet registration, right? Servlet registration control space dot dynamic, right? And I'll write here my custom dispatcher. Okay, dispatcher servlet. Okay, that's good, equals this. So right now, what is this? You might be getting confused. Right. So dynamic is an interface, servlet registration is an interface. Okay, so if I go to servlet registration right now, this should be an interface, as you can see, which is extends registration. And if I'll go back, if I will go back here, if I'll go to dynamic also, the dynamic is also an interface, right, which extends servlet registration. But if you are going to look a little bit deeper, you can find this dynamic interface. This is the interface. This interface present inside the servlet registration. Okay, so this is a inner class kind of concept, right? Inner interface, we can say. A interface contains another interface. So servlet registration right here is an interface, and if you'll go down, you can see dynamics, that is another interface present here, which is extends to servlet registration, and this is an inner interface, right? This is an inner class kind of thing, right? So this interface, whenever it will be implemented by the class, which will be given by the servlet container or which will be given by the Tomcat, at that time they are going to provide the class for this particular implementation, right? So this is a core Java concept. I don't want to get into that, but don't be confused by looking at the syntax, because this is an interface, this is an interface, but this interface is present inside this interface. So it's a inner class, inner interface, whatever you want to say, just say that. Right now we get my custom dispatcher servlet object right here. So servlet registration.dynamic confirms that our servlet will be registered dynamically during the time of the deployment. So right now, using this, let me stretch these things out a little. Right now, using my custom dispatcher servlet, using this object right here, I can do dot load on startup. There is a method here called set load on startup. I can give a value here 1, just like our Eclipse. Where is our Eclipse? Okay, so we have given load on startup value 1 here. I have done the same thing right here. So I have used this servlet registration.dynamic reference right here to add the set load on startup value, and I can also do my custom dispatcher servlet, and I'll do add mapping, and here I can add the mapping for it. Let's say star my website.com/start. So our request should be starts from mywebsite.com, and that could be anything after that. Let me give a semicolon right here. So right now this dispatcher servlet, my dispatcher servlet, is going to handle all the requests starting from /mywebsite.com/star. Pretty simple. So Command A, Control Shift F to format everything, and this is your final piece of code that I have written inside the onStartup method. And right now your thing is done, right? We are done with the coding. So that's it. So right now what I can do here, I can do a right click, run as Maven install, just to confirm my build is success before I will put this particular project inside Tomcat. Let's see, things are working good. Yes, build success. So next thing is right click and I'll do run as run on server. Okay, so I'll do a next, finish, and let's see what is going to happen. Let's see our dispatcher servlet is getting initialized or not. Okay, that's the only thing I care about right now. Okay, so let's the Tomcat start. Okay, so it's taking time. That means our thing is going to work good. That's how I predict, right? It's taking time, right? Then things are working good. Okay, so right now we can see initializing the Spring dispatcher servlet, my dispatcher servlet. Okay, so if we'll go to this particular class, my dispatcher servlet is our dispatcher servlet name, right? Our dispatcher servlet we have configured here, and this dispatcher servlet we are registering here with the servlet context object. And as you can see, let me minimize it. As you can see right here, the name to this particular dispatcher servlet we have given as my dispatcher servlet. So right now my dispatcher servlet is getting initialized right here, initializing the my dispatcher servlet and completed initialization in 1659 millisecond. Okay, things are working good. So we have right now done a pretty good job. So the next thing is, let's create a controller and let's create a JSP file. Okay, just to run this particular program quickly. So what I can do here, right click, I'll go to new, I'll go to class. Let me create a controller class right now. Let's say test controller, and let me put this particular class inside a package called com.seleniumexpress.lc.controllers. Okay, this looks pretty good. Let me hit finish. So I'll have a controller right here, and I'll do here add controller because this class is a controller. And right now, for now, I can create a public string method, and let me say hello, and I'm going to annotate this particular method as @request mapping. Let me say the URL pattern is test, and let's say this string is returning something. Hey, it's working. So to print this string to the response, I'm going to use @response_body. I have already used this particular annotation pretty much in my previous tutorial. So right now, this is the test controller which is present inside the controllers package. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to right click here. I'll do copy qualified name. I'll go to my configuration file and I will activate the component scanning right here for now. And later I'm going to completely remove this file and I'm going to do everything in Java. So no worries for right now, but just let's see things are working good or not. Context annotation config is not needed. Context component scanning is needed. Context component scan, the best package, I'll do Control V right here, and I'll do slash. On Tomcat, reload my changes. Yeah, it's going to reload everything. So destroying, initializing, and reloading completed. That's good. So I can go to the local host, the browser, the Eclipse browser, and I'll say, what is my dispatcher servlet URL pattern I've configured? So I'll go to my dispatcher servlet class, wherever I've configured it. So inside my love calculator application initializer, the pattern is mywebsite.com. So I'll go here and I'll say mywebsite.com / and then my controller I have mapped with @test, and oh, So no mapping for this found. So what happened? Okay, so the origin server did not find a current presentation. Okay, it's a 404 error. So what happened here? So I'll go here, the component scan, I think is pretty good now. So I have also copied the class name. I do not want the class name. I only want the package name. So let me do Control S right here. So hopefully the project build is completed right now. So hopefully right now things will work good. So okay, so let me wait till my server restart. Okay, so it's completed. So right now I'll go to here and I'll do enter. And there you go. Hey, it's working. That's really good. That's really good. We are one step closer to success right now. We have made it work. We have configured a dispatcher servlet using only Java code. All right, so we are going good, isn't it? So right now we have configured a dispatcher servlet using only Java code. Right now we have a file here inside the resources, which is this file, and this is our Spring config. Oh, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, in the evening, in the night. I don't know what I'm going to tell about it. Okay, but that doesn't matter. 3 o'clock for engineering students. Doesn't matter, isn't it? So I already made myself a coffee, so I have the ability right now to stay awake till morning. So no worries with that. So right now our job is, we have a configuration file here called application-config.xml, and my job is right here is to eliminate this particular file, this particular XML file, and whatever the code that I have written here, I have to translate the same thing to Java. Okay, so what I can do right here, I can go directly to config folder. I can do a right click. I can go here, new, and I'll create a class, and this class will be the replacement of this file. So this is a config file, right? So I can say love calculator. This is going to be our application name, and I'll say love calculator of config, right? I'll do enter. That's it. So right now tell me how to make this class, or how to use this class as a configuration. So to let Spring know about it, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use a configuration annotation. I have already spoke about this annotation during the Spring core time. I want to do everything in Java. So this class right now will be a replacement for this configuration file. And what the other thing we are doing right here, we are activating the component scan. So I'll go to my config file. Here I can activate my component scan. I'll do @component scan right here, and I can copy the package name com.selenium express.lc.controllers. I'll do copy, and I will come to this class right now, and inside the component scan I will give the base packages. It is going to accept a string array, but right now I have only one string, so I can place it directly right here, and there you go. Our appconfig class is ready. So right now I can go to the resources folder, and I can delete my XML configuration file, so that we won't be needing this particular file further, because I'll be using this class. Let me stop my server. So I will be using this class as the configuration file, and here only I am specifying my component scan, so that right now Spring will scan for this package com.selenium express.lc.controllers, which is right here, and this controller package, if I'll go to Project Explorer, I will collapse everything. You can see inside com.selenium express.lc.controllers package we have the test controller. So this will be automatically detected by Spring, and this particular controller will be initialized by the servlet container or by Spring framework itself. Okay, just because we have provided the component scanning right here in the line number 7. So things are working good. One next thing is we can go to our love calculator application initializer.java, and here we have set up everything in XML based approach right here. Because what if I am configuring my dispatcher servlet in Java code, but I have to load a XML file? So this is the way to do it, right? If my Spring configuration file is there in XML, then I can load my Spring configuration file, which is XML, by using XML web application context class right here. So I'm going to delete this piece of code right now. Instead of XML, right now I'm going to register this class, this love calculator config class. This class I'm going to register right here. So that my dispatcher servlet right now is going to use my Java class instead of the XML file. So what I can do here, I can write annotation. I am not sure about the class name. Annotation web application context, annotation config web application context, probably this class. Annotation config web application context. I'll say web application context equal to new annotation config web application context, and I'll write web application context dot register. Yep, this is a class. Web application dot register. I will give the class name right here. So what is the class I have created? This is the class, right? Love calculator config. So I'll go to my love calculator application initializer, and here I'll write, what is my class name? Love calculator config dot class. There you go. You have created a container right here. Your web application context object you have created. You have registered the configuration class name right here, and right now you can just copy the reference right here, and you can pass it to the dispatcher servlet, because dispatcher servlet needs an web application context to get initialized. And there you go. I'll do Control S right here. Right now I can do here, right click, hey Maven, just compile my project. So I'll do run as, and run as Maven install. So Maven will clean my project, compile my project, and install my project. By the time I can have coffee. Okay, so right now build success right here, no problem. I can deploy my project right now. I will open the server. I'll click here. I'll do start. So let my project get started, and this time let me test my application, because I have created my Spring application configuration file in Java code, and I've deleted my old XML file. So hopefully the things will work as expected, as it was working before. So I'll go here, enter, and things are working good. So to test it out outside of the Eclipse browser, what I can do, I can copy this URL. I'll go to Google Chrome, and I'll do Control V, I'll do enter, and there you go. Hey, it's working. Okay, so right now let's create a view. Okay, so let me stop the server. So let's create a view, and right now in the test controller I'm just returning this string. Instead of that, let's return a view. So what I can do here, I can go to src main web app, and here inside web folder I can create a view. I can create a folder first, and let's say folder name is view. Inside the view folder, let me create a JSP file. So I'll say file, let's say hello world.jsp, command A, command C. I want to copy the file name. Okay, so this is the file name that we have created, hello world.jsp. I want to make sure my controller, test controller, will return that particular file name. I'll do Command V, and I'll remove the extension that my view resolver will do, and I'm going to set up my view resolver pretty soon. Just be there with me, and I'm going to remove the @response body, because right now I want my controller method or handler method to return a proper view instead of a string. And this unused import, let's remove it. Command Shift O to remove everything. Command S to save. Right now, let me go to hello world.jsp. This index.jsp I do not need, right? This file created by Maven, and it's just showing me hello world. So right click, delete this file. I don't need this file, it's just confusing me. Hello world, this is the JSP file I've created. Right now, let me write some simple HTML code pretty quick. HTML. Now I'll write head here, and I'll give a title to this particular page. Let's say title, and title is, let's say, okay, first MVC up. After head, I will write the body, and inside the body I will say a paragraph here, p tag end, and inside here I'll say welcome to Selenium Express. Okay, a very simple string here. I'll also give another p tag, and inside the paragraph I'll say visit, and I'll give my website link right here by using an anchor tag. So I'll say anchor href, and I'll say http://www.seleniumexpress.com, and there you go. And I'll say here seleniumexpress.com, okay, for more info. Command S to save. Now I have a JSP page ready here. Now this JSP page I'm returning here inside my controller, mapped with /test mapping. Right now we have to make sure we will create a view resolver, and that view resolver should return a proper view location. Let's say right now this hello world.jsp is present inside view folder, which is there inside WebInf, and the extension of this particular file is .jsp. So where we basically configure the view resolver, if I'll go back to Eclipse, where I have my XML project open right here. So as you can see in the application config file, we are creating a bean by using bean and bean tag, right? So here view resolver is the reference, and we're using the class called internal resource view resolver. This class has two property, prefix and suffix, and we're setting the value right here. So the same thing we will do in our Java-based approach. So I'll come back to STS, and right here I'll go to the application config file right here. Let me minimize this thing, and here I will set off my view resolver. So basically I'm going to create a bean right here. So I'll say I'll create a method, let's say view resolver. This is the method name, and this method should return internal resource view resolver, this object. For now I'll create a internal resource view resolver object, internal resource view resolver equal to new internal resource view resolver, and let me return this view resolver just to get rid of that error that we're getting. Okay, now the error is gone. Okay, so right now the same thing we're doing, right? If I'll go to Eclipse, we are creating the view resolver object here by using bin tag, and this is the class object we are creating. I have taken the same class right here, internal resource view resolver. The next thing, we are setting up the prefix and the suffix. Okay, the prefix value is this and the suffix value is this. Let me give the same thing right here. So view resolver is our object. Inside the internal resource view resolver class, we have a property here called prefix. So I'll do set prefix, and the prefix is the folder location, which is web-inf/view. View, the folder name I have given small, right? View is small, is inside web-inf. That's good. And I'll do a slash here, command S to save, and I'll do view resolver dot set suffix, and suffix is the extension of the page, which is .jsp file we're using, and there you go. Right now we have created a method which creates the internal resource view resolver object, is setting the prefix and suffix and returning that particular object. I'll make it a private method. Let me make it a public method. No worries with that right now. We are not putting this code in production. And I will make sure that this particular method should call by the framework and the object of internal resource view resolver created right here, and it should be treated as a bin. So I'll write a bin annotation right here. So Spring will create the object for this, and it is going to put this object inside the container. So whenever dispatcher servlet will need the view resolver, at the time we already have a view resolver configured here. So our dispatcher servlet will take the help of the internal resource view resolver. Then whatever the string our controller is returning, let's say hello world, it is going to append the prefix and suffix by using this particular method. The prefix is this, is inside /webinf/view, and the extension is .jsp. So it is going to locate this particular file. I have already spoke about it. Right now everything looks good. I'll do Command S to save everything, and I'll do right click, run on server. I'll do next, and I'll do finish, and let's see what is going to happen. Come on, man. Well, my server got started. The configuration that I have did in my dispatcher servlet is mywebsite.com. So I'll go here, I'll write mywebsite.com / then the controller. What is the controller? Controller pattern is /test. So I'll go here, I'll do /test. Please, no error. I don't want any error. And there you go. So welcome to Selenium Express, and visit seleniumexpress.com for the more info. If you click here, it'll go to my website. Okay, so pretty simple. Right now we are actually seeing a hello world.jsp page right here, and as you can see right now we do not have any XML file. Well, we have the web.xml file, but I'm going to delete it pretty soon. So right now we are not using any XML. All these files that we have created here, all are been written by using the Java code. That's pretty good. That's how you need to create a dispatcher servlet, right? And that's how you're going to create a application config file, right? And one more thing, guys, your things are working good right now, but here you have to use another annotation inside in your love calculator app config file, inside your Spring config file. Make sure to use this annotation @enable Spring MVC. Okay, sorry, @enable Spring Web MVC. So this will actually enable all your Spring MVC configuration. I'm going to talk more about this particular annotation later in the video, but later in the course. Be sure to put this annotation. We have seen, right, even if we are not using this annotation, our things are working good, but be sure to put this annotation before your configuration file, and I'll be speak more about this annotation later. But for now, you can understand, in order to make Spring know that this configuration file that we have created is actually a Spring MVC configuration file, we can use this annotation, and this annotation will activate the Spring MVC configuration. That's good, right? Okay, so that's about the whole concept. But right now, I'm going to make your life a little easier, right? Okay, so right now, see the screenshot that you have in your screen right now. Well, this is the same class that we have created to set up our dispatcher servlet. So guys, this is the approach that you need to follow if you want to have a full control over your dispatcher servlet object. We can actually do a whole lot of things right here, and I'm going to tell about it later in the course. But right now, there is an easier approach to configure a dispatcher servlet. Okay, instead of implementing this interface called WebApplicaitonInitalizer, we can extend to a particular class, and that class will do all this coding that we have done right here behind the scene. So in the next video, I'm going to tell you another approach to set up your dispatcher servlet, and that is the easiest approach and been used widely. But remember, if you want to have a full control over your dispatcher servlet,
you have to prefer this one. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about that approach in the next video, and that's going to be really easy but interesting. So now you need to switch to the next video, but before that you make sure that you practice this much thing and you are good to go, and we are all in the same page. So see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye and happy coding.